Guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave what's up Dub Nation. Big time updates coming out of the Bay, and if you're a die-hard Warriors fan you're going to want to lock in. We've got not one but two major storylines unfolding, a crucial injury update on none other than Stephen Curry, and a roster shake-up that could have a subtle impact as we head into the most critical stretch of the season. So let's get into it now. Just when fans started holding their breath after seeing Steph hit the floor hard during that game against Toronto, some clarity has finally come. NBA insider reports had already mentioned that Steph avoided any structural damage after undergoing an MRI, which honestly was a massive sigh of relief, but that didn't mean he was out of the woods. That pelvic contusion he suffered was enough to keep him off the court for the following games, including the one against Atlanta, where, let's be real, the Dubs looked completely out of sync. But here's where things get interesting. As of the most recent update, Steph has traveled to Miami to rejoin the team on their 6-game road trip, and his availability for the upcoming clash against the Heat now depends on how his body responds to treatment. Initially it looked like he was going to be listed as doubtful, but then boom, a new twist. Steph hit the practice court. According to team insiders, he went through an individual workout following a long and intense team practice session. From what could be seen, he started with stationary shooting, but there's no doubt he ramped it up beyond that, testing his movement and stamina. Here's the deal: the team needs him. That Atlanta loss wasn't just another tally in the L column, exposed exactly how vital Steph is to the DNA of this team. Sure, Golden State has survived stretches without him before. The numbers without Steph on the court this season haven't been terrible, but come on, anyone who watches this squad knows he is the motor, the mind and the magic. Without number 30 the Warriors can hit their ceiling. It's that simple. As things stand right now, the Warriors are clinging to that 6th seed in the Western Conference by the slimmest of margins, just half a game ahead of Minnesota and barely a game ahead of the Clippers. The pressure is on, but on the flip side it's not all doom and gloom. There's real opportunity too. They just a game back from the Memphis Grizzlies for the 5th seed and only 2 behind the Lakers, both teams they'll face during this same road trip. So the stretch, it's everything, and if you're looking for a potential spark, Steph's return in Miami could be the ignition. The Heat have been in complete disarray since dealing Jimmy Butler, dropping 10 of their last 11 games. Their identity is nowhere to be found, so this could be a prime moment for Steph to step back in, shake off the rust and help the Warriors build some momentum heading into the final 10 games of the regular season. Now let's not ignore the emotional side of this matchup. Jimmy Butler, now wearing a Dubs jersey, is making his first return to Miami since the blockbuster trade that sent shockwaves through the league, and while Jim is downplaying the whole thing, calling it just another game, we all know better. Butler doesn't take games like this lightly. He's built different. He holds grudges. He lives for the big moments, and this one, it's got all the makings of statement night. Jimmy's been locked in recently too. Over his last 4 games he's been the Warriors' primary scoring option in Steph's absence, putting up 22 a night while fishing out 9 assists. Those are legit numbers, even though the efficiency hasn't been elite. His aggressiveness, his playmaking, his ability to get to the line, that's exactly the kind of production Golden State needs if they want to survive this stretch. And when you look at the bigger picture, if Steph returns at full health, if Jimmy keeps this level up, and if Draymond continues playing like a defensive player of the year candidate, and let's be honest, he's been an absolute force defensively since the trade deadline, then this team ceiling is sky high. Draymond has been everything you want on the defensive end, switching, protecting the rim, directing traffic and anchoring every possession. You give me that trio playing at their peak. There's not a single team in the West I'd count them out against. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The number one priority right now is staying out of the play-in tournament with a veteran core like this: 37-year-old Steph, 36-year-old Jimmy, 34-year-old Draymond. You know you don't want to add extra games to the load before a brutal playoff gauntlet. Avoiding the play-in is crucial. That means winning the games you have to win, and that starts with Miami, continues with the Pelicans and the Spurs. 2 more teams fighting for lottery balls more than wins right now. Go 3 for 3 in those games. That's non-negotiable, and it's time to buckle up for the real battles. Memphis and the Lakers, those 2 games could define whether the Warriors rise to the 5th seed or drop into the danger zone. You split Those you're in business sweep him now, we're talking about a real push but drop both. That 6 seed becomes a pipe dream and suddenly you're staring at a win or go home scenario that nobody in this locker room wants. And again it all circles back to Steph. If he suits up in Miami it changes everything. Defenses can't load up on Butler, spacing improves, ball movement flows, and even guys like Kaminga, Moody and Podomski get better look. Not to mention when Steph's hot he shifts the entire energy of the team. The crowd gets louder, the bench gets livelier, the momentum becomes contagious. We've seen it before, we'll see it again. But the Steph update wasn't the only headline. While all eyes are locked on Steph's return behind the scenes, the Warriors front office was also making moves to tighten up the roster ahead of the playoff push. Golden State officially signed Kevin Knox for the rest of the season, and while this isn't the kind of blockbuster signing that lights up headlines, it's an important move in terms of depth and meaty NG League requirements after that major trade that shook up the roster. Remember, after the trade that brought Jimmy Butler to the Bay, the Dubs lost 4 players and only brought back 1 in return, which left them short to the minimum roster count. To patch that up, they gave Knox a pair of 10-day contracts, basically a tryout period, and now with those stints behind him and some solid vibes around the organization, Knox has locked in a deal to finish out the season with the Warriors and be eligible for the playoffs. So what does Kevin Knox actually bring to the table? First off, let's acknowledge something. No one's expecting him to come in and play 30 minutes a night. He's not here to carry the scoring load, and he's not going to suddenly be inserted into crunch time rotations when the postseason rolls around. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have value. Through his first 7 games with the team, Knox averaged a little over 7 per game. Most of that action came in blowouts where the outcome was already decided. Still, during T.O.'s limited minutes he showed flashes, a couple of block shots, some made threes, solid activity on the offensive glass. The box score doesn't tell the whole story. What the Warriors really like about Knox is his size, his versatility, and maybe more importantly his approach. He's 6'8" with a long wingspan, thick frame, and enough lateral mobility to go guard multiple positions. That kind of body type is exactly what teams want in today's league. Someone who can switch on defense, rebound, and provide a little stretch when needed offensively. He's not going to dazzle anyone, but he's capable. He'll hit the occasional open 3, crash the boards, and finish around the rim if given the opportunity. But more than anything, it's the intangibles inside the locker room. Players and staff alike have spoken highly of Kevin's attitude. He's professional, he works hard, he stays ready, and on a team full of veterans with championship aspirations, that matters. You need guys at the end of the bench who aren't going to sulk, who are going to keep their energy high in practice, push others to be better, and jump into action when their number gets called. And look, let's be real, as the season winds down there's a real possibility that the Warriors choose to rest their stars in 1 or 2 of these final games, especially if a seed gets locked in early. That could be Knox's chance to get some meaningful burn, get into a rhythm, and remind people that he can still play in this league. The Hornets game where he dropped 12 points and made a handful of hustle plays was a great example of what he can do when given a longer leash. Also, let's not ignore the insurance factor. Knox provides coverage in case of injuries or load management situations. Guys like Jonathan Kaminga, Guay Santos, and even Jimmy are all part of that wing rotation, but Kaminga has dealt with injuries this season, and Santos, while intriguing, is still earning consistent minutes. Jimmy, of course, is no spring chicken. If he tweaks something or just needs a night off, having Knox available means you don't have to lately reshuffle the rotation now. As for the rest of the roster, the Warriors still have 1 open spot. Kevin Knox took the 14th roster slot, but they've got a 15th available if they want to use it. So where the options? The name that keeps floating around is Yuri Collins, the Smello guard who signed a 10-day deal alongside Knox earlier this year. Now, to be totally honest, Yuri didn't exactly light it up during his short stint with a big squad. He saw extremely limited minutes and didn't have any standout moments in the NBA, but in the G League the guy's been impressive. He's a true floor general and selfish, poised high basketball IQ, and he could benefit from being around this veteran group as the playoffs approach. Would he crack the rotation? Probably not, but like Knox, he's someone who could absorb some garbage time minutes, keep the engine running in practice, and just provide that extra body in case things get dicey with injuries. And from a team building perspective, there's value in rewarding a young player who's done everything asked of him. That said, Golden State could also look externally to fill that last roster spot, but that's looking less and less likely by the day. The free agent pool right now is, let's be honest, pretty underwhelming. Some recognizable names are out there: Mo Bamba, Cody Zeller, Marcus Morris, Bogdanovic, TJ Warren, but most of these guys either haven't played in months or past their prime, or come with questions about fit, effort, or defensive ability. And Mo Bamba, for example, has the skills set, he can stretch the floor and protect the rim, but if he's still insane this late into the season, it raises some questions about what teams are seeing behind the scenes. Is a locker room thing, a motor issue? Something's not clicking. Same goes for Morris and Bogdanovic, guys who can get buckets but don't offer much on the other end, and probably aren't the best fit for a Warriors team that's leaning heavily on defensive flexibility and system play. TJ Warren is another interesting name. He's currently hooping in the Knicks G League system and could end up getting the call up to New York before anyone else gets to him. But again, even if the Warriors were interested, there's no guarantee he'd be ready to contribute in meaningful games, and at this point in the season that's the bar. It's not about talent on paper, it's about readiness, fit, and how quickly someone can integrate into a tight veteran-heavy rotation. So here's the bottom line: the Warriors might just stick with what they've got: 14 players, a focused rotation, and maybe a youth piece like Collins around for insurance. That's not a bad approach when you already have a trio of stars like Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond operating at full capacity. The bench has role players who've proven themselves, guys like Moody, Podolsky, TJD, and the chemistry is finally starting to click after all the mid-season shakeups. One more thing to note: Coach Steve Kerr is unpredictable when it comes to rotations. Just when you think someone's out of the picture, boom, they're back in. Look at TJD. He hadn't seen the floor in what felt like forever, and suddenly he's logging minutes against Atlanta. Matchup-based decisions, energy, practice, performance, all of that plays in Orr's approach, especially as the stakes get higher. So whether or not the Warriors fill that 15th spot, it's a subplot, not the main story. What really matters is that the core is rounding in a form. Steph is close to returning, Jimmy's been electric, Draymond is anchoring the defense like he's chasing another trophy, and the supporting cast is coming into its own this final STR of the regular season. It's about health, rhythm, and stacking wins. The Heat, the Pelicans, the Spurs, these next few games are must-wins. After that, it's about making a statement against the Grizzlies and Lakers, because if the Dubs want to avoid the play-in and lock in that 6th or 5th seed, this is the moment, this is the stretch. And if Steph really is back in a court in Miami, that could be the beginning of something special. So buckle up, Dub Nation, the postseason is almost here. The core is healthy, there pieces are in place, and with one last push, Golden State could be right back where they believe they belong, in a fight for another banner. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Rumors are swirling around the NBA and it's creating a buzz like no other. The topic on everyone's lips: could the Golden State Warriors be welcoming Kevin Durant back into their fold after Durant's highly successful tenure with the Warriors, which saw them claim 2 NBA championships? The idea of his return to the Bay Area has fans on edge. His incredible skill set combined with the Warriors' potent roster would undoubtedly make them a terrifying force once again. But what are the chances? Let's dive into the possibility of Durant reuniting with the Warriors and how it could shake up the landscape of the NBA. The intrigue is undeniable. Durant, a 2-time NBA Finals MVP with Golden State, has since left the franchise to pursue new challenges, first with the Brooklyn Nets and later with the Phoenix Suns. However, despite his tenure with those teams, the Warriors' potent mix of sharpshooters, playmakers in depth may have Durant considering a return to his former squad, with Golden State's championship window still open and Durant's ability to elevate his team to new heights. The potential of him rejoining forces with the likes of Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson is a tantalizing prospect. Would the reunion reignite the Warriors' dominance, or would the Warriors' chemistry be thrown into disarray? In the end, speculation continues to mount and the excitement surrounding Durant's future is palpable. Whether or not this rumor holds any truth, one thing is for sure: the NBA world will be watching closely as the drama unfolds. A potential Durant comeback to the Warriors would undoubtedly alter the course of the season, and fans everywhere are eagerly awaiting what might come next. Stay tuned, this saga is far from over. Stay updated exclusively with their latest Dub Nation news, subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.